guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread, and welcome to day one of Vlogmas. I am very excited to be joining in with Vlogmas again this year. It's been a couple of years since I've done it. Just for anyone who is not familiar with the idea of Vlogmas or the way that I do it, I see it very much as a day in the life video blog. I will be taking you guys around with me with whatever I happen to be getting up to in the day. I actually have a couple of weeks off work at the beginning of December so that I can kind of get into the flow, but also so I can do some fun Christmassy stuff because I love this time of year. Pretty much anything Christmas I'm going to be excited about. So I really do want to share with you guys all the fun things that I have planned. I have some activities like Christmassy activities. I've got some meetups with friends, some sewing meetups. I've got some baking, Christmas baking, a lot of Christmas cookies I need to be making for our family for Christmas. I also have some Christmas crafting. I need to be doing some sewing for sure. I need to make my Christmas dress, guys. So I bought some fabric at the beginning of the year that I knew was going to be for my Christmas dress. I had intentions of making different dresses throughout the year that could be like maybe a little bit of a tryout and see maybe this could be the one I use for Christmas. But I didn't do that great at that. I didn't actually make a lot of drapey dresses, which is what this fabric is for. I have this really gorgeous silk velvet, which it's like an emeraldy green and definitely incredible where the light hits it. It's really shimmery. It is obviously super soft. It has wonderful drape and movement. I'm gonna love wearing this fabric, but it is special fabric and I wanna make sure that I have the right dress for it. So I've got a dress that I was working on this morning that you will have seen me finish that I just needed to press and hem it. Another one that I'm making a muslin for, and if that works well, then I'm going to do a test of that one with a different fabric. And then a third one that I was just cutting out the pattern pieces so that way I can put that together and then make a little tester of that as well. So I've got, essentially these are the three dresses that I'm trying to decide between. Having finished one of them, I know it's not the one, but I'll show you guys a little bit later what that one looks like. I have so many fun Christmassy bits and pieces throughout this month, and I want to show you some of the things I'm going to be doing. So one thing I have been leaving until December that I bought last year in January is this jigsaw puzzle. So this is a wooden jigsaw puzzle. I have wanted to make a wooden jigsaw puzzle since I saw Citizen Kane, and there's a scene where there's a woman making a wooden jigsaw puzzle. Sorry, that noise was the box. That wasn't me. But it is a really wonderful quality, nice chunky pieces. So I love that they're like good thick pieces that I think will just lock into place so beautifully. This has a really unusual design in that some of the pattern pieces, I think they have like a special name for them, but they're basically little fun shapes. Like this is a little reindeer, one of the pattern pieces. And the design, if you didn't spot it, it is Christmas cookies, which is very much me, and I was loving all the little bits and pieces that I was seeing on there. So I'm going to be working on this throughout December, and I am super excited to do that. I also did get one proper advent calendar. I didn't get a sewing one this year because I feel like most things that you get in them I already have, but I wanted to get something, so I went for this one. This is the Naked Marshmallow Advent Calendar. So it's naked because it's not got any like preservatives or icky stuff in it, all natural ingredients. And you get a different marshmallow every day. So they're little square marshmallows. And if you want as a little extra, which I did get, you get a little marshmallow toaster, which you burn, and skewers so that you can roast them. And they're all different flavored marshmallows. So I'm not going to open one now, but I will show it to you guys when I open it a little bit later. But the main thing that's super exciting is this box that I haven't opened yet. So Sam, who is Sequin Girly here on YouTube and over on Instagram, she asked if some different sewing bloggers wanted to join up and exchange some gifts over the Christmas lead up period, particularly anyone who's doing Vlogmas. And of course, like I said, I'll just kind of leap on any bandwagon if it comes to Christmas. And I was like, sign me up, Sam. And so what we've done is like a kind of round robin thing where I'm getting a gift for one person, they're getting a gift for another person, and so on, so that we all have something. And the idea is that it is 12 gifts that we're going to open in this lead up to Christmas. We're calling it Advent Swapmas. I will put up the names of all the people, and there's a nice little image that Sam made for it, but the names of all the people so that you can follow along them on YouTube and see what they're getting up to this Christmas, but also see what fun things we've gotten or made for each other. I'm super excited to see what's in this box. It does tell me not to open until the 1st of December, so I have been very good. I haven't opened it yet. Because it's 12 gifts, I'm not going to open one every single day, so what I thought made sense was to open them on the even numbered days. So I'm going to open the first one on the 2nd of December, then the 4th, the 6th, and that means I get one thing to open on Christmas Eve, which feels a little bit special. But I do want to see what's inside this box. Right, so inside I have the goodies. So everything is wrapped, so no surprises, no spoilers here. They're all numbered. I love that they are completely mixed up, so I get to dig around and find the treat for the day. So this one will be opened tomorrow, will be day 1, but I'm excited to see all the lovely things I have to look forward to. This came from Christine, who is Gemini Stitcher. Thank you so much, Christine. I cannot wait to dig into these tomorrow, but I will. I'm going to be patient. And I put together a package for Sam, who is Sequin Girly. If you guys are not familiar, she's also the co-host of the podcast, So It's New in the Biscuit Tin. Definitely a really good just chatty hangout if you want to have some extra hangout time when you're doing some sewing. That's often when I'll listen to it or when I'm commuting to and from work. So do check that podcast out if you're not already familiar. Thank you so much, Sam, for organizing this. I am so excited to see all of the gifts that everybody's getting. I think it's just a really nice, something a little bit extra special than just like a standard routine advent calendar. And I think it's going to be really fun to see what I get throughout the month. The other thing that I've been working on today is making some bias binding because I'm planning to have a sewing day tomorrow. I'm going around to my friend Annette's house and I don't want to have to bring both a sewing machine and a serger. I wanted to plan a project that's just going to be one machine. So I want my regular sewing machine, so I'm doing some bias bound edges on a project. And what I'm going to be making is the Chris Wood Sews, whoops, are we there? The throw jacket. This is a really simple design and I like the idea that you basically take your measurements and that's what gives you the pattern piece. And I'm using my Kantha quilt that I got. So I did talk about this in a recent video. This quilt is truly stunning. It's made in India. I think it's pronounced Kantha rather than Kantha. I think you can probably say it either way, but it has a really incredible design on both sides. So the idea is that this can end up being reversible and I'm going to have to play around to figure out placement of this jacket just to make the most of this fabric, but I'm going to be working on this tomorrow and I'm just getting a little bit organized by making my bias binding in advance. For now, I need to go have some lunch. I have some fun stuff planned throughout the day, but time is getting on and I need to get on with it. So I'm doing some baking because I have a sewing day tomorrow with a sewing friend and I wanted to bring something fun along when I go. I'm making a recipe from this book. It's the Dough Book by Richard Bertonet. I really like this method of making the dough and I will say I'm not doing it properly because you're meant to do it by hand without any extra flour when you're making it. But I have a KitchenAid with a dough hook and I'm going to use it. But what I'm planning to make, they're called bread shots. So these little rolls with various fillings, and I have a few things that I'm planning to put in them. This is just going to be resting for the next hour. I will show you guys the process and put a link to this recipe if you guys want to try it out for yourself. It's really good, just like a little nibble to have throughout the day. So it's basically bread and something with it, whether that's like cheese or pesto or sun-dried tomato, olive, that kind of thing. And they're a really nice thing to bring along. Just wanted to show you guys as well because it makes me laugh. I have a tea towel that I use just for baking, just so that it's definitely clean and I know that I'm going to have it when I need to bake. And I got it from my friend Deanna, who lives in Moline, Illinois. And every time I hear the name Moline, I definitely get the song Jolene in my head. So it seemed appropriate that she gave this to me. But I'm going to let this proof for an hour and just show you guys what I've been sewing. Right, so this is a muslin of the Belemnite dress by Marilla Walker. I think this is going to work well. I think this is going to be a nice dress. So it's pretty fitted. There are princess seams in the front and in the back. There are also some ties. So I really like that there's a tie that's sort of integrated so it doesn't cinch up the whole of the waist. You have a nice little panel in the front that's not. I just wanted to check this really to see if the bust fit, if the neckline was good, if the sleeve length was good, if the waist position was correct. I often have to move the waist, but this is actually sitting pretty well. It's possibly a tiny bit high, which is unusual for me. Waist seams tend to be more on the lower side for me. So I might move the waist tie down just a smidge, but honestly it looks pretty good as it is. This is like a one piece that's this side of the princess seam that goes into the sleeve. So there is going to be some bunching here. That's just part of the nature of that. I also wanted to check the length of the sleeve. So this is going to have elastic in it, and I think that's pretty good. It's kind of a little bit short. I feel like it has that like almost bracelet length thing, and I feel like it maybe wants to seem like it's a little bit longer. So I might just take it down by a couple of inches just to get it fully to the wrist. The neckline I think is not bad. I think the V is sitting at a good place, but there's just a little bit of excess, so I'll come a little bit closer. So I feel like this isn't fully flat on my bust, and I feel like it would sit better if I just pinched out a tiny bit on each of these sides. So really not much at all, but I think it's a really nice fit overall. I did a zip in the side just to make it a little bit easier to get on and off rather than having to do my zipper at the back. But I'm generally pretty happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out of my fashion fabric. So I have the viscose twill fabric. It's like an aubergine purpley eggplant color. Sorry, I had to like do my American British translation. But yeah, so far I think this one is looking pretty good. And if this works well with the drapey fabric, I think it'll be less bunchy here. Then I think it's a good possibility for my Christmas dress. This is the viscose twill. So it's a really pretty color. I think a good color for me. It was a pretty inexpensive fabric, so I think it's good for a tester. I particularly wanted to make this dress in a solid just to get an idea of how it looks. And then I will show you guys. This is the, I'll start off close, the Sew Over It Florence dress. So I'll back up and give you a full sort of 360 situation. Obviously I'd be wearing this with boots or shoes rather than just my silly socks. What I will say about this, I did not do a full bust adjustment, and boy should I have done one. The muslin that I made of that Belemnite dress, I did a 2-inch full bust adjustment, which is what I generally know that I need. This dress, when I saw the pictures on the Sew Over It website, it looked like it had some ease, and I was like, actually, it's probably going to be fine. If I just lengthen the front of the bodice a bit, I might just get away with it. I kind of forgot that Sew Over It often have very little ease, especially in the earlier patterns, which this one is. I didn't look at the finished garment measurements. That was me being completely silly. And when I first put this on, before I put the buttons on, I could literally barely close it. So I put a lot of buttons on, guys, just to avoid it completely gaping open. And it is tight. Like, I took seams out after I'd sewn it up, and I was like, okay, what can I do to get a bit more space? I took some out of the seam, basically all the way to the serged edge at the sides, at this arm seam, and it is still like, I can barely move. It is just super, super tight. But also this is not long enough at all. I did lengthen this just a tiny bit by like 1/2 inch, just to try and give a little bit more space in the bust. But as you'll see, if I go around, there's a lot more excess, like blousing, and that should be in the front. That should be the same all the way around. It's not super comfortable when I like move my arms like this. It's tight across the back. Like, basically this needs to be at least a size up. But I just feel like in general, there's too much that needs doing. I'm not going to start faffing around with adjusting this pattern at this point because I don't think it's necessarily that amazing for it. It's a shame because this fabric is pretty fantastic. I really love the pattern. I really love the design of it. The movement's really fun. This fabric is a Sister Mintaka fabric that she had designed. The one thing I will say that I was a little bit disappointed in is the feel of it. So apparently it's made with like lensing, so it's like tencel. But to me, it feels almost kind of slightly plasticky. Like, it's not the nicest feel against the skin, and that might just be personal preference. Like I said, the print is super fun, and I didn't want to necessarily throw it away on something that I didn't think would work out. But at the same time, when I got the feel of the fabric and I was like, I don't love the way that feels, I wasn't so worried about making a pattern without making a muslin, and I thought, well, it'll work out or it won't. It basically hasn't. I don't know still if I will maybe wear this or if I might just end up giving it away to somebody else who has a smaller bust with a similar otherwise shape and proportions. But yeah, this is not going to be my Christmas dress, but I wanted to show it to you guys because I finished it today. I did want to still finish it, and I might just, try wearing it out and see how I feel. And then the third option is the Adeline wrap dress and top by Forget Me Not Patterns. I'll be putting pictures up because I feel like it's easier than showing you. I can show you, but it's not going to be as clear. This is a dress that I've seen around, top that I've seen around, and I think it looks absolutely stunning on everybody who has made it. It does not come with a huge size range though, so this was in the original pattern range and she hasn't extended it. I know the owner of Forget Me Not Patterns has had some health issues, which I think has delayed a lot of this kind of stuff. I still wanted to give it a go though, because there were Black Friday sales and I was looking around and thinking actually that could be kind of perfect, because this one doesn't have any zippers or buttons. Like overall pretty easy I think to make. It has some pleats and those pleats get stitched down, and so that will obviously be a little bit more delicate, but I could even do that by hand. I'm not really that worried about it. I think I could be careful with the silk velvet on the pleats, and otherwise I feel like it should be pretty straightforward as far as the construction and bringing it together. This is something though I worry, especially if I want to do long sleeve, which I definitely do, and it's going to be a long dress, it's going to be like a solid print. I worry that it's going to look a bit roby. I don't want it to look like a robe. Now there are two neckline options. One has a shawl collar, and I think I probably need to, I don't know. I love the shawl collar, so I'm kind of undecided whether I need to stay away from it or not. It's not typical to have a silk velvet robe, so it probably won't read as a robe for that reason, but let me know your opinions, guys. But what I decided I'm going to do, rather than making a whole dress of this, I'm going to make the blouse, because there's a blouse version, which I really do like as well. Now I was looking through what fabric I had that had a bit of drape to it, and decided to go with this. This is a leftover piece of some viscose linen noil fabric. So it's a little bit more structured than I probably would want to go for, having the linen element, but it definitely has good drape to it, so I feel like it should work. And I love this fabric. I know that I really like this color, and I know that it's something that I will wear. So I'm curious to try just the blouse version of that in the solid, drapey solid fabric, to try and gauge if I feel like I could get away with it with the velvet fabric. So we are on our first adventure of Vlogmas. We are going to a Christmas market in Waddesdon Manor, which is in Buckinghamshire, not too far from us. It's in a very fancy manor country house. They have illuminations, so they have lights and a Christmas market, and I think it is just the thing for the 1st of December to get us into the Christmas spirit. Well, that was a very successful adventure for day one of Vlogmas. That was really cool. We did have to whiz around because we got there a little bit late, but we saw all the things. We got some nice food. The lights were really, really pretty. Some very impressive stuff on the Manor house. It's one of these places I feel like it would be nice to come back at some point when it's not pitch black and actually see what it's like. We're gonna get home and try out some of the bread rolls that I was making. So those rolls I've part baked, and then you can finish the baking, and I wanna just double check that they're okay for science. Very important. And then I also get to open my marshmallow for the day because I haven't managed to do that yet. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that will be a nice treat at the very end. So huge success with those rolls. I think Annette is absolutely going to love them tomorrow. I'm going to do my advent calendar. I actually opened up, I thought there was going to be a wick in this little burner, but it's actually like a gel that you light. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to find out what is behind door number 1. So I've got my advent calendar. I got to find number 1 right here. What do snowmen like to do on the weekend? Chill. I was not expecting jokes. All right, so apparently this marshmallow is cookies and cream, but it looks pre-toasted. Oh my God. It's covered in like Oreo crumbs, but it actually looks like a toasted marshmallow. I'm still toasting it though. Weird. That's quite crazy. I feel like you shouldn't be toasting this kind of marshmallow. You can see it's getting caramelized. Smells very marshmallowy, but also a little bit Oreo-y. Super messy, but really delicious. All right, I think I'm gonna make myself a cup of herbal tea and get ready for bed, but thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed day 1 of Vlogmas. I'm very excited to be back again, and I'm looking forward to showing you some fun stuff again tomorrow. Bye!